Thank you for joining me today on Instinctive Addiction Archery. I'm Jeff Phillips. I've got another good broadhead arrow combination video for you today. Okay, I have been working nonstop on these arrow combinations, getting these setups for hunting bows, and I'm trying to do these videos to save you guys time and money, to help you get a combination that will absolutely fly perfect out of your bow, okay? I just did an absolutely awesome test on the eastern axis, okay? Be it a traditional, be it a regular old 5mm, whatever. I did a combination of a 400 spine with 80 grain stainless outserts and 150 grain Magnus stinkers, okay? And guys, I will put up some pictures in this video of that test, and it is unbelievable how consistent they are. You know, a lot of broadhead companies even tout that their broadheads fly Fieldpoint accurate. Well, that's not the case with a lot. Okay, an arrow has to be really in tune. It has to be tuned very well out of the bow for it to fly like a field tip. Okay, the Magnus stingers are inherent to flying like field tips. They just do, okay? They don't plane very much. They're an awesome head and you can get them anytime. Now, I was shooting the 150 grain buzz cuts, 2-blade, okay? On a 400 axis traditional with 80 grain stainless outserts. And the pictures that I'm gonna put up in this video for you guys are an actual side-by-side shot at 25 yards, and the arrows are, if I had not shot the broadhead first, it would have cut the entire end off of the other arrow. They are literally laying on top of each other, okay? They hit exactly the same, all right? No doubt they hit exact same. So it's a killer setup if you're gonna shoot a 400 in a bow over 45 pounds, which is what I did. I had a 50 pound at 28 recurve that I draw 27 inches, which gives me about 48 pounds on that bow, okay? The longbow, which will be in the pictures, is a 48 at 28, so I'm drawing it about 46 pounds. So as you can see, both of these bows shoot the arrows identical. These 400s cut at 29 inches for me tune perfectly with Luminox, weighing in at 570 grains actual weight. I said 550 in the other video. Well, the Luminox actually added about 20 grains, so they're about the 570 mark, which is really, really good. If you're shooting that kind of weight bow, it's a killer combination. Now, for today's video, let's say you have a bow less than that. Today I brought out a 45 at 28 longbow. I'm sorry, a recurve, 45 at 28. So it means I'm drawing this bow about 43 pounds. Okay, so what kind of arrow really worked out good for this particular bow? This was my test today, okay? Well, I have come up with a winner, a real winner, okay? And what I've got is a gold tip warrior. A gold tip warrior that only weighs 7.4 grains per inch, okay? Put the Luminox on the end of it. I put a 50 grain aluminum gold tip insert. This insert is at least this long, guys. It's a 50 grain aluminum insert with a 190 grain Simmons Shark, 190 grain head. I tried it with 175s, it shoots just as good. So if you buy 175s or 190s, it's gonna work out of this arrow, okay? So I'm gonna shoot this thing, and I'm gonna show y'all how good this thing flies. Now, the total arrow weight, you may say, well, what does this arrow weigh? Okay, it's not as heavy as a 400 axis traditional setup the way I had it. This arrow is 486 grains, plenty. Matter of fact, this is the same setup that I killed my best buck ever last year with, except for it was a traditional XT instead of a warrior, but they are the exact same GPI. They're the same arrows. Warriors are just cheaper, and they're excellent arrows. I love a warrior. They're so good for a cheap arrow. Okay, so now when I say cheap, they're affordable, guys. They're not cheap, they're affordable. Quality, perfect. Now with this Simmons head and this insert, and the Luminoc. This is the exact same setup that I shot that deer with last year. It was 480 grains and change, okay, from what I weighed it. I just weighed this arrow before I brought it out at 486 grains, okay? So if I'm drawing 43 pounds, you can kind of do the math. If I've got 486 grain arrow, that's what, 12 grains per pound, at least that. So it is plenty for hunting. Okay, so I'm gonna shoot this bad boy and show you how good this thing shoots. If there was any erratic flight whatsoever, I would know it, because when you shoot them at say 35 to 40 yards and that thing flies through the air absolutely perfect, there's no wiggle at all, especially with that Luminoc. When you don't see anything with it, you know it's shooting just like your field tip setup. Because what I did before I put this Broadhead on, I shot one of these arrows with a 175 grain field tip on it, and it shot dead on, perfect. I put the big Simmons head on it, still shot just the same. So that tells me that it is a very balanced arrow. The FOC on this thing is probably 20%. Okay, if I measured it, it's probably around 20%, which is like plenty. I had someone question me the other day about the axis. What was the FOC on that one? Well, the FOC on the axis wasn't but about 15 to 16% from my calculations. Not near as much as this one, but they are heavier shafts. So when you're shooting a super light shaft like these at 7.4, and this is in a 500 spine, by the way. I may not have mentioned that, but this is a 500 spine. Total length of the shaft on here is 28.5 inches. That's what I've got these cut at, 28.5, with the 50 grain aluminum inserts and the Simmons sharp. Okay, here it goes, guys. Show you how this thing flies. Nothing better. Dead on, absolute laser perfect. Laser perfect. That's what you want, and that thing is hitting hard. I mean, it has just shot through that 3D target right there. It's buried to the feathers, okay? Now that was a fairly sharp head, one that I had left from last year that hasn't really been shot, and a sharp head's gonna penetrate a lot, guys, but that's not what the video's about. It's about flight, okay? You can sharp your heads and get them to do what you want to do, but I'll promise you, you'll get enough penetration out of this setup and put something down quick, okay? So this gives you two good choices. If you're shooting a lighter bow, let's just say around that 43 pound mark, that 480 grainish weight out of a 500 light shaft like a Warrior or a Hunter XT or a Hunter Pro with a 50 grain aluminum insert and a 175 to 190 grain head, you're there all day long. You've got all you need, and it will fly. I'm gonna show you guys now what this same arrow does out of this longbow. It doesn't get any better. Okay, guys, I just tested it out of the Recurve and thought, okay, I'm done. Well, never done. So I grabbed this longbow that just shot a 400 Eastern Axis traditional at 570 grains, whatever it is. Shot it great. I mean great. Well, I thought I'm gonna try this Warrior, this 500 with the 50 grain insert, same head, what I just shot out of that 45 pound recurve, okay? This longbow, and the reason that I wanted to test this is because longbows, even though this is a 48 at 28, 3 pound heavier bow, longbows, even the fastest of longbows like this Passion, and I mean, literally, they don't get any faster than a double carbon bow, okay? But a relatively fast longbow of any kind, no matter what you have, never has quite as much energy in the limbs as a recurve, okay? Especially a high-end recurve, they don't. Okay, so I figured it may be kind of an equivalent there to what that bow was putting out, and without shooting it through a graph, I thought I'll just try it and just see how this arrow flies. Boy, was I amazed. It's like a match made in heaven. Now I know that these same arrows will work out of either one of these bows. For me, excellent. Okay, I'm very, very happy. And something else before I shoot it and show you guys, that's very important that I have found. In all this testing, I have honestly found two things that are really important, okay? And you got to remember this, guys. A small, slim diameter shaft, like an axis, a 204 inside diameter shaft, is way more finicky to FOC. They are. In other words, you can't overload them. You cannot get by with it. When you pass about 225, thereabouts, on a slim diameter arrow, guess what happens? Every time, you start getting tail high. If you're bare shafting it, they will get tail high flight. They will tend to dart down with a broadhead. They just won't shoot a lot of extreme FOC. You got to keep them stiff, okay? Now, I have found that to be true, and I have just found that they just do not fly big heads like this big swamp shark here. No, they don't fly them. You put a Magnus on them, you've got a bullet arrow. Bullet, perfect. But they don't fly the big heads. A standard diameter shaft like this Gold Tip Warrior, Hunter XT, Hunter Pro, Eastern Legacy, it doesn't matter. 5/16 standard shaft will fly a big head. They will. They'll fly a wide cut head way, way, way better. They're just not as finicky. They're more forgiving in essence, okay? I have found them to shoot far, far better than the slimmer diameter arrows when it comes to a lot of the broadheads that I've tested, okay? But there again, if you go with something like a Magnus, the Stinger, like I shot on the Axis, it is an absolutely awesome combo. But when you get a bigger head than that, you need to stay with something like these. Yeah. So I'm gonna shoot this thing and show you what's up with it. Totally awesome, guys. I'm getting excited. I'm getting excited. I really am. Shot all the way through it. Shot all the way through it. I'll grab it and shoot it again, but yeah, it did. I've got a little soft spot there that's been shot up, and it just blasted right through that thing. Oh my God. I may have to even shoot the other target. Let me grab it right quick. Hang on. All right, I got it loaded back up again. Blasted right through it. I may have to shoot it just a little bit higher up this time, or shoot the further target or something, you know, whatever. But I'll try it again. Maybe it won't shoot all the way through it, but when you get a semi-wore out target, that's what happens. But anyway, just watch the flight. That's what this is about. Perfect arrow flight. There it is. Bam! 12 ring, baby. Man, that thing flies good. And it's still fast. I mean, really, really fast. I don't have my quiver or anything on here right now. I typically run my strap-on sailway on this bow. This is one of my hunting rigs, but man, it don't get no better than that. I mean, wow. Shooting just like field tips. And those Simmons heads, you shoot one with those, like I did that buck, they don't have a chance. They don't have a chance. Thank you guys for joining me. Love you. Thank you guys for joining me today on Instinctive Addiction Archery. I'm Jeff Phillips. I love you so much, and we just thank the good Lord for everything that he gives us to enjoy, including archery. We love it, guys. God bless you.